Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. Scuba diving, the Galapagos, Cousins Rock, Santiago Island. This is the last dive of the trip, the last dive in the Galapagos. What an incredible week of diving it's been. The diving far exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were quite high. Cousins Island is really just a rock that sticks out of the ocean with these jagged volcanic ridges and ledges all around. I'd felt a little melancholy at the end of the day yesterday and that day's last dive. Today, I feel like I've actually gone beyond that. Almost empty, I guess would be the way to describe it. Usually when I dive, I have this inner monologue going on in my head, describing to myself what I'm seeing. And sometimes it's similar to things I saw when I was a kid, like when I used to watch Jacques Cousteau and became inspired and interested in the ocean and interested in diving. I can hear that voice describing the scene, talking about the interaction of the sea life with the waves and the tide and the surge. But on this dive, I didn't have any of that. It was silence in my head. This trip was overwhelming to the senses from beginning to end in many different ways. The trip was fraught with some challenges, but that's just part of the game when you travel. So I tried to take that all in stride, and the diving, just spectacular. Just so many different things to see. Just overwhelming to the senses. Something in every direction. And if you weren't paying attention, and even if you were paying attention, you probably missed a whole bunch of things. This dive was the same. An eel in the wall, white-tipped sharks taking a nap under a rock, several turtles, and even a sea lion near the end of the dive. Every dive brought something new and exciting and unexpected. Again, like the sea lion near the end of this dive. Didn't expect to see a sea lion here, and just for a split second, a sea lion dives down and darts in front of me and swims off and disappears as quickly as it appeared. The Galapagos was like that from beginning to end. Even the birds flying over the boat. The frigates that followed the boat and soared above seemed to glide forever without flapping their wings. I remember watching the birds and being in awe, and even saw one of them attack another bird of a different type, I think maybe a seagull of some sort. And then I remembered reading later about how they do that, and they chase and harass other birds until they regurgitate the food, and then the frigates will eat it. And I caught some of that on video. It was just amazing. And they would soar along with the boat without flapping a wing for hours, occasionally landing on and riding on the boat between islands. I could imagine square-rigged sailing vessels and the frigates soaring above them and catching a ride. And some of these green sea turtles, which as far as we know may live 70 years or more. What have they seen? The female green sea turtles don't even reach maturity until they're 25 to 35 years old. This was definitely a step outside of my comfort zone. It was a trip that I wanted to take for a long, long time. A place I wanted to see as a child and never in my wildest dreams thought that I would actually go and dive there. I'm so incredibly thankful to have been able to experience this place, and so grateful that I'm able to have recorded the video and share it with all of you. I'm very thankful for all of you that watch the videos, and my friends that I see that are watching the videos that mention something to me they've seen or asking me about details of the Galapagos or the trip. It's so very heartwarming. There aren't words for how thankful I am for all of you. I started my diving adventure just over 40 years ago, and I guess I need to thank my mom for that. She actually took the certification with me. She never did another dive after the certification. I was 13 years old, and I was a horrible dive buddy. I was so excited and so ready to go, and it came so natural. I just didn't have the patience to wait, and I was off. Even in the pool, in the class, ready to explore, ready to swim, ready to take it all in. I didn't dive nonstop for those 40 years. There were periods in between where I took time off. Life got in the way. Definitely got in the way of diving. But it was something that never went away, something I always came back to. Something I knew would never completely go away. And I've been very fortunate to dive with some wonderful people, make some great friends diving, have some great dive instructors. I continued my dive education, sought out my local dive shop, and took classes, got to know folks there. The diving community is incredible. I'd compare it to the sailing community, and that may not make sense for some folks, but I guess the way to sum it up is they're just great people, and for the most part, not everyone, but for the most part, most of the people you encounter are incredible people, willing to help at any point in time in the diving and the sailing community. Very giving people, giving of themselves, their time, willing to be patient and understanding and just help each other out. Again, you may have the occasional individual who doesn't meet that, but for the most part, almost everyone you encounter in the diving and the sailing community is like that. They're just a great group of people. If you haven't started diving yet, I'd encourage you to give it a try. Go to your local dive shop. They have something called Discover Scuba, most likely, in which case it's not very expensive. You can sign up. They'll meet you at the pool and bring all the gear. You can go underwater, breathe, and see if you like it. It's a great way to decide if you want to dive. And certainly, I'm always willing to talk about scuba diving. So feel free to reach out. I hope you enjoyed the Galapagos dive series as much as I enjoyed recording it and sharing it with you. Um, if I'm a little emotional talking about the last dive, it's because it was an incredibly emotional experience. I've said it before, overwhelming to the senses. Like a place that time forgot. It's like stepping into a different world. And just the thoughts, the emotions, the rawness of all of it, just incredible. Um, His final thought for me, it left me going back to, and I don't read often. My friends that know me well know that, but I went back and reread The Prophet, um, and just that kind of thinking, thoughtfulness is where this trip left me. Anyway, thank you all so much.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.